Merry Christmas from the All Pro Sports Talk family, and happy holidays if you do not celebrate Christmas. Let's talk about the Las Vegas Raiders. This has been a complete turnaround for this team. Early on this season, they had Jimmy Garoppolo and Josh McDaniels leading the way. They fired Josh McDaniels and they benched Jimmy Garoppolo for the rookie and Aiden O'Connell. In the first couple of games, they were ugly. And this is still not a team that's going to make a true playoff push in the last couple of games. But Antonio Pierce has his team playing true Las Vegas Raiders football right now. They came out and they put a hurting on the Los Angeles Chargers last week, and that defense was flying all over across the field. And that is one thing with this team, even when Josh McDaniels was the head coach. Their defense has been very good this season. And with Antonio Pierce as the interim head coach, and he should be the head coach of this team moving forward, even into next season, their defense has gotten better. Max Crosby continues to be one of the best defensive players in the NFL, and Nate Hobbs has also been a very good player in that secondary as well. I love everything that they have on the defensive end, and I also like what they have on the offensive end as well. Now, they came out today and they defeated the Kansas City Chiefs. Their defense did get a scoop and score, a fumble for 6, and then they did get a pick 6 as well with Jack Jones. But their offense has been doing a lot of good things as well throughout this season, even when Aiden O'Connell has been the starting quarterback. Now, I do not believe that Aiden O'Connell is the franchise answer at that position, but he could be if you give him more time and continue to develop him and let him use the pieces around him. But without Josh Jacobs today, depending on Zamir White, he looked very good. The offensive line has done a very good job as well in run blocking, and also they've been decent in pass protection as well. You still have Devontae Adams, who is one of the best wide receivers in the game. They have not been able to connect with him that much down the stretch. He only has 968 receiving yards and 5 receiving touchdowns on the season. And a lot of that is because Jimmy Garoppolo was not looking into his direction as much when he was in the game. And Jimmy Garoppolo was a bad quarterback with this team. Before he got benched, he was leading the league in interceptions, and he didn't even play the full season up to that point. You look at what the Raiders have been able to do since they pushed Josh McDaniels out the door. The defense has gotten better, and the players love Antonio Pierce. Antonio Pierce deserves his job, and it's similar to what happened a couple years ago when they fired John Gruden. You had Rich Bisaccia come in there. He basically took over the reins, pushed the team into the playoff position. They went to the playoffs. They were just one play away from defeating the Cincinnati Bengals with Derek Carr at that quarterback position. But the Las Vegas Raiders have a bright future with Antonio Pierce as a head coach, and he deserves to be the head coach of this team. I feel like this team would be making a huge mistake if they do not let him be the head coach next season. Take interim out the title and let him be the true head coach for this team. Josh Jacobs has not had the best season this season, but he has been better ever since Josh McDaniels got fired and pushed out the door. Only 805 rushing yards on the season and 6 rushing touchdowns. And it's hard for the offense to take a complete 180 because Josh McDaniels was so hands-on with the offense. He was basically calling plays, getting things in with the quarterback that he wanted in Jimmy Garoppolo. So they're running the same playbook. They're just executing the plays a little bit differently. But Antonio Pierce is all about stopping the run, putting pressure on the quarterback, and getting things going with that secondary. But in the last couple of games, this defense has been very good, and this team has been very solid as well. Even back to a couple of weeks ago when they lost against the Minnesota Vikings, they held that team to 0 points for majority of the game. They held that team to only 3 points. 3 points. If the Raiders could have scored a touchdown and just 2 field goals in that game, they would have won that game. The offense definitely needs a lot of work, and they need to bring in a guy, whether it's a veteran quarterback or drafted quarterback, to go in there and compete with Aiden O'Connell. But they need to get that quarterback situation resolved. And Aiden O'Connell's had a lot of good moments as well. It's not like he's just a bomb at the quarterback position. He's done a lot of good things. He's just young, and he wasn't even supposed to start this season. When you look at the original depth chart, it was Jimmy Garoppolo, Brian Hoyer, and then you had him at the third quarterback spot. And he looked very good in the preseason. He was a preseason darling, and it doesn't always entail what's going to happen in the regular season because you're basically playing dress up in the preseason. But against some very tough defenses, he's made some smart throws. He's gotten the ball out quick, and he looked very good in the first half against the Kansas City Chiefs. Just in the second half, he wasn't able to get much going. But he does do a good job of taking care of the football and getting things going as well. I just don't believe in him being a full-fledged starting quarterback just yet with this team. But I do believe in Antonio Pierce being the right being the right head coach with this team. And I will say this as well. I'm not going to come on here and lie to you guys. A couple of weeks ago, I said this team was a massive disaster. I always believed in Antonio Pierce at the time. I just don't know how ownership will look at him moving forward. I still don't, because this is the same ownership that basically say, hey, Rich Bisaccia, you got us to the playoffs. We almost won a playoff game. Let's push you out the door for Josh McDaniels. They can't do that this time. But I do believe that ownership has learned from their mistakes in the past. They will give this man the full opportunity to coach this team for a full year, or even upon that, and they will try to give him a true roster to make a deep playoff run with, because the way this defense is playing right now, if their offense could just be middle of the pack, they would easily be one of the top teams in the AFC. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you feel about the Las Vegas Raiders, and should Antonio Pierce be the head coach of this team long term? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one, guys, stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Merry Christmas. Have a blessed day. Peace.